Hi, my name's Kim. I live in Eagle Point in Victoria in Australia, and I've led a very ordinary life full of extraordinary experiences. There's lots of names for people like me, and most of them aren't complimentary. However, the ones I prefer are shaman and experiencer. Experiencer covers it because I used to call myself a spiritual jack of all trades, but experiencer really covers all of those things that have happened to me from quite a large spectrum of events of what are classified as, non-ordinary consciousness, paranormal, whatever you want to call it. Before I get on to the juicy part of my first meeting with an alien, I'll just tell you a bit about my life. I've worked in lots of medical offices and hospital departments in radiology and pathology. I've been an examination supervisor at one of Australia's leading universities. I've done decades of voluntary work in intercountry aid for children, and I've been very, very involved in intercountry adoption. I have two adopted children from other countries. Needless to say, I did not mention clairaudience or aliens and UFOs during my adoption process. I felt they might sort of frown on that particular information. And I think probably, I've run my own business, I've run a cafe. There's plenty of people who I know and who know me who would have no idea whatsoever of what an incredible, blessed life I've led in terms of non-ordinary consciousness. And I guess what I'm really saying is I'm well-grounded, and I function well within society, within my community. And, all the time I'm sort of hiding out, except I haven't really hidden out. I did write a book about some of my experiences a few years ago, but nobody read it, so hey. Why I feel it's really important that people come out, so to speak, in terms of UFOs and alien encounters. It's quite crucial. It's still holding a place that near-death experiences used to hold, which was, people just think, you're crazy, or you're hallucinating. If so, then, man, what a great way to be. Because what you return from it, and over a lifetime of experiences, what you actually gather, what you harvest, is real wisdom that society needs. You just have to look around the world at the moment and you think, wow, if ever a planet needed to learn about connection, oneness, compassion, kindness, these are the things that you come back with, or that you harvest from what for many people, is traumatic. It's post-traumatic growth, really. And that's what happens after a near-death experience. People come back with great wisdom. And from my perspective, people who've experienced alien and UFO phenomena, aside from the few that have had unpleasant experiences that they haven't worked through, the rest of us, we have an enormous gift to offer our societies, and it's just shunned. And this is totally wrong. Who doesn't want to know about love, compassion, a connected universe, connected universes? When we're talking, I've come across interdimensional beings. Who doesn't want to know that? So that's one of the main reasons I'm doing this video for the free website, because I think it really is time that greater credence was given to the results of people's experiences in the UFO and alien realm. Also, I have a personal reason. I'm the actual end of a genetic line, so I sort of feel like I really should honour all of my ancestors throughout this version of time by giving the truth of who I am. I'm really very down-to-earth person who just has led an extraordinary life. And that life, you know, I'm a shamanic practitioner. It's resulted in some wonderful things. I have led a blessed life. I wouldn't give away any experience I've ever had, or any hallucination, if that's what people want to call them, because they bring me a greater depth of understanding of our species, of where it's gone wrong, how it can mend, how the world could be a better place. And we need that. As a race, we need to return to a sense of connection with all living things. It's the one consciousness in all things. It's the one life in all things. We are so deeply connected. We need to know it. All right, so on to the nitty-gritty. And I'm just going to share sort of where this all started, really, which was, I've always been clairaudient. I don't remember a time when I didn't hear voices, and we're going back before, you know, attending school. When I was a very little girl, and we're talking around the 3-4 mark, I used to have a repetitive dream that really was quite frightening. It was a nightmare, and it was of a big green thing, like a crocodile, watching me and waiting to get me. Eventually I stopped having that. A few years later, I was absolutely, as a young, I think around about the 8 mark, given where I remember doing this, absolutely intrigued with creating an invisibility potion. Lord knows how much of Mum's bathroom paraphernalia I wasted mixing into little bottles and trying to make myself invisible. And I think that all comes together with when I was around about 10 or 11. I was playing in a very steep paddock with a friend, and we'd sort of separated. She was down the bottom. I was sort of climbing up the paddock towards halfway mark when I realised that ahead of me I could see this fly. Sounds silly, yeah. And I stopped because, man, this was incredible. I'd never seen anything like this. It was a form of muscular development of that thigh that, you know, you'd only see in a present day sort of Mr. Universe on steroids. It was quite incredible. He had boots on, which I've never mentioned before, because they came up over its knee, and even that was fascinating. I'd never seen that before, and it didn't sort of work how I thought it ought to work. Yeah, so I just came to a dead stop and sort of followed this thigh up. My eyes, like a little dog looking up at you, you know, it sort of starts down low and heads up, and it was a bit like that. I was sort of slowly raising my eyes. And I got up to the chest, and my brain sort of just couldn't find a comparison. To this day, I don't know whether I was looking at skin or at some sort of covering. There was no comparison in my mind, and I'd sort of stalled in this area quite a while looking at this chest area. Yeah, I still don't know, as I said, and my brain sort of had to give us a shrug to move on. It was like, nah, don't know what that is. And I kept looking up, you know. Now, I need to say at this point that this was a huge being. He was over 7 foot, I would imagine, well over, and really built. This was a big body, a big muscular body that I was looking at, and he was green. I know, I roll around laughing. He was green. Every part of it was green. The boots were green. Until I got to the eyes, and they were the most miraculous colour. It's I've never really seen it before, and I don't think I've seen it since. Like a mix of gold and orange. It was beautiful, with black irises that were, you know, your typical reptilian iris, diamond-shaped iris. And it was at that moment when I locked eyes with him, and I knew it was him, that he realised I could see him. He had thought he was invisible. And at that point, he spoke directly into my mind. And when I say spoke, there weren't any words as such. It was like whole concepts. So the first thing that he did was he he dropped it in that he'd just been watching us play. Like we might go and study the gorillas and watch the baby gorillas playing with each other. He'd been watching us play. And so the first thing he told me in my mind was, watching you play, I'm not going to hurt you. So immediately, no fear. I had no fear because it was just, that sort of communication is truthful. It's hard to describe because we don't really have words for that type of experience. Telepathy just doesn't cut it for me when you're getting whole concepts and feelings. So I knew that he was as horrified as I was that I could see him. It was a huge mistake on his part that I could see him. He was not meant to be visible. And so, yeah, he told me that he had no intention of hurting us. He was just watching us play, and it was a mistake. I had not been meant to see him. And we were just locked eye to eye. Later on, somebody told me that he must have opened sort of a link into my mind to do that enabled me in later years to see many, many UFOs. It's just been a constant through life. Suddenly into all of this, and I've got to say time stopped while this happened. There was no time. And again, we don't really have a way of describing that sensation, that knowledge that all time has just ceased. And all of a sudden, in all of that, I heard the voice of my friend from down the paddock talking to herself, as children do. And I can remember I just sort of tore my eyes away from him for a moment and sort of slid them sideways, to her to sort of say, are you seeing this? Like, can you see this here? And she wasn't even looking in my direction. She was looking down and wandering along, as I said, talking to herself. And I turned back to him and he totally disappeared. He totally and utterly gone. So that was my moment of real eye-opening, because what happened in that moment for a still young girl, I was maybe 10 or 11 tops, I think, was a lot of society's beliefs were just shattered in that moment for me. Things that I was just starting to have concepts around about how, we're the most intelligent thing and we're on the planet. And no, he was smarter than us. He knew how to make himself invisible. Even his appearance, it was more perfected, more crafted, he was gorgeous in many ways, gorgeous. So, bang. For me, no, we're not the most intelligent thing, and gee, you've just got to look around the world now to know that might be true. We're not even the most beautifully crafted thing. There are things that are stunning beyond belief. So from there, I guess you could really say is a lifelong fascination with how our beliefs shape our perception of reality and what is consciousness. I could feel that being in my mind, with my mind, not in my mind, with my mind, years later, for years. Whenever I was in that particular paddock, I would know if he was there or if he was not there. I could communicate with him. I begged him on one occasion to communicate, and it was a very firm refusal. It was considered a huge mistake, as I said, that there'd been any meeting at all. It made sense of my childhood dreams of something big and green watching because he was there. I personally developed an understanding that he was there for a long time, a very long time. We're talking probably a couple of decades, on and off, like a study, like someone goes and studies the chimps or the gorillas. He was there. And now consciousness, beliefs, they really do shape what we agree to experience in this reality. And so I've come to understand that there's intelligent consciousness in everything, absolutely everything. I write about it. I've started to blog about some of my experiences. So for anyone that's interested, shamansharingcom.wordpress.com. And I have a shaman sharing page, which is devoted to trying to spread the word, the wisdom of our oneness of being and our immortality of being, that we really are consciousness. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you all for listening, and I hope it gives you just a hint of what magic is around you every single day. And if you can only start to look at your belief systems, know that the less you believe, the more you can experience, is pretty much how I approach it. Thank you. Bye.